So I have had a lot of requests, or at least a few, to string a tennis racket live. Normally I just make a 5-minute video and just stop it and hold the camera in front of my face. So I was asked to do a video stringing a racket live. So I'm going to do that. By no means am I super fast, so I'm not trying to set a speed record. And I've got a couple kids in there doing homework and so forth. But the two boys are at a tennis tournament, and I'm here with these two with homework. So I'm going to string one. Uh, this racket actually is pretty cool. This is a racket that my wife won at an auction. It was Amelie Maresmo's racket. It's a Dunlop 300. It's 98 square inches. She loves hitting with the racket. Here's Marismo's signature. I don't know if you can see that. She loves hitting with the racket. We broke it back out of storage here recently, and the strings need to be replaced. They hit pretty dead. So I'm going to put new strings on it. If there's questions, I don't know if I can see your questions or not. I guess I come back here and look. Looks like I have the possibility of seeing them. If you have a question, great. If I catch it, I'll answer. Otherwise, I'll try to do this as fast as I can and not try to set any speed records. But first thing, if it's strung when you string a racket, is to clip the strings out, or if it's unstrung. I like to start in the middle, okay? And I like to clip from the inside out. So that way I'm getting equal release of pressure down the racket and up the racket. So I know I went a little off balance, but for the most part, kept it pretty good. But you can see? See, Lil, you can say hello. So you go over there and say what's up.
Hello.
Back up some? Okay. Yeah, see, this is Lily. This is the 8-year-old. She's going to be our superstar. All right, so here we go.
Is that Mom's racket?
So then we're going to pull these out.
I want to show you, me too.
All right, well, you go there. Okay? I think it's recording. I don't know if it is live, though. All right, go back up. I can't see you. Back up further. 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 All right, there she is. There's Gabby. She's our 5-year-old. What's up? All right, thank you, Gabby. Normally, no, I wouldn't throw these pieces on my floor. My wife would kill me. But I'm going to throw them here just so I don't bore you more than I'm probably already boring you. So I'm just pulling these out. No particular rhyme or reason. And these strings are old, so some of them are kind of frozen in there. So if I had to guess, I would say this racket would be from maybe the early 2000s, probably. I think Marismo won Wimbledon. I forget what year. If I remember correctly, it was early 2000s that Marismo won Wimbledon. I don't know how long after that date she got this racket, but she won it at an auction, and I think she was in the Dominican Republic when she won it. So, pretty cool story. It wasn't something given to her directly by her, but it was something that was won at an auction, and she loves hitting with it. It's supposed to be strung between, and this is important, look at your racket. It's supposed to be strung between 65 or 55 and 65 pounds, or 25 to 29 kilograms. So I'm going to string it. She likes a looser racket. She does like to generate her own power, though. So I'll probably string it about 58, 59 pounds. And I think she'll like that. I plan to hit or to string it with a polyester mainstring and put a multi-filament string along the crosses. Good news for me is that the multi-filament crosses are easier to weave, so it doesn't take as long for me. Warning, when I get to the mains, or excuse me, the crosses, I'm not going to break any speed records, but if you want to fast forward to the end, if this saves as a video, then you can just fast forward through my slowness. But I'll try to complete it if my phone doesn't die first. This is on my phone, and I've never done a live video before, but I'm going for it. All right, so the strings are clipped out. Nothing here. So I don't have the stringing patterns for this racket, so I have to look at the racket and say, you know, do I start at the throat?
And subscribe 100.
Or do I start at the head?
100.
So what I do is on the bottom is if I don't have the stringing specifications, I see that there's 2 holes, 4 holes, 6 holes. So I know just from experience that I need to start at the throat, because if I have 2 or 6 holes at the throat, I always want to start at the throat. If I have 4 or 8 holes here, I want to start at the head. It comes out off if you don't realize that. So this is a 2-point machine. 4-point, excuse me. It's a Prince Neos 1500. Some machines have 6 mounts where the racket is cradled, but this one I find more user friendly. Some people do not. But basically, I'm just lining this racket up on this head, and I've kind of already preset it so I wouldn't take forever to do it. I usually start lining up at the top, at the head. Okay, so the right side and the left side of center have the same amount of holes. So you want to get that top centered up first, and then center it up on the bottom next. Good, I don't have anything blocked. Looks pretty good here, so I'll lock that side down. Same thing here. I want to fine tune it though, because it's not quite perfect. So I like that there. And then I lock it into place. So I always check to make sure I don't have any blocked holes. I had a little bit of a block grommet, and so I look pretty good. So I don't know if you can see that, but this is basically just a 4-point machine crank that I just mounted, 360-degree rotation and so forth. So what I do now is I want to cut out my length of string that I need. So I have a preset place that I go hang my string on the wall, and I can walk back to a certain spot, pull my string out all the way, and I know when I get to that spot I've got 20 feet of string. I string a good bit, so because I have a reel, I like to get it almost exact, otherwise I'm throwing away profit or money or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to go hang this on a nail, and I'll be right back. So I have my reel on a nail, and I got to this spot where I know it is 20 feet. Because I have one of my daughters here. Lily, come here real quick for me. Okay. I'm gonna get her to hold it and make sure it has tension, so I know I'm not throwing away loose string. It's expensive, so I want to make sure I'm right. So Lily, you stand over here. Hold this. Okay. Don't move. You stay right there. Hold it tight. Okay. So, thank you, Lily. So I know that I've got roughly 18, 20 feet of string. Lily, come here one more time. Okay. Oh yeah. Now I want you to hold this piece of string. Right here. Right here. Don't move from that corner. Hold it. Don't move. All right. All right, we're good. Thank you, Lily. All right. So I've got my 20 feet of string. So the first thing I want to do is I want to string my mains, which are the strings that go up and down. Okay? My up and down strings. So I know that this racket, because it has 2, 4, 6 holes, that I want to start it at the throat. So I'm going to put on my Benjamin Franklin glasses, okay, that snap on, so that I can see better. And I'm going to start my main strings. So I'm going one string to the left, up, and through. And I'm going one string to the right, up and through. You want to make sure they're even when they come out, because you want to have the same amount of string on your left and right sides. Okay, so I got them even. Okay. So in order to start, if I pull both strings at once, the tension's not going to be quite where I want it to be. And I said I wanted to string it at 60 pounds. So over here, I'm going to set my dial to 60 pounds. I almost forgot to do that, so sorry. So I'm set on exactly at 60 pounds. Now I've got to put a starting clamp, which is going to hold tension on one string or prevent it from slipping while I pull tension on another string. So I'm going to put both through into start. Okay, both through into start. Then I'm going to get my clamp on the string that I'm not going to pull tension on first. And I'm going to clamp it far away from the head of the racket. In this case, okay? And I'm going to let it go. Alright? So, again, this is my anchor string. So now this is my anchor. Alright? So, this will now prevent this string from slipping when I pull tension on it. So, again, I'm going to put my string on the right, back in the tension head. And I'm going to pull tension on that main. Alright? Then I'm going to get my clamp that's closest to my tension head, and I'm going to go ahead and clamp it off. Okay? Clamped off. Now I'm going to release tension. And because I could go ahead and pull this string if I wanted to. I can go ahead and do that. However, if I do that, this clamp is going to be too close to this clamp. It's going to be too tight. I can clamp it back here, but then it leaves to me a suspect distance that will, I think, ultimately compromise the amount of tension on the racket. So I'm going to do about 2 or 3 more mains on this side, again, the non-anchor side, to give my clamp some space. But I don't want to go more than, say, 2 or 3 on this side without going back to this side. It's a balance thing for me anyway. So I'm going to run this back through the next main. Under the throat, by the way. If you pull out and come over and then pull tension this way, it can harm the racket. So you want to go through the throat. Okay? So I pull that through, rotate, tension head, pull tension, brake pops out, we're good. Pull this clamp. Okay, I've got a little bit more space here, so much better than it would have been if I would have not rotated it. Alright, release the brake. Now again, I'm still on that same side. I'm still on the same side. Okay? I don't know if you can see me. I don't know if you care. Maybe you're just looking at the racket, but I'm sorry if you can't see me. So I'm coming up my next main up top. Coming through. Alright? And I'm going to go ahead and pull tension there as well. Okay? Going back up. So now I've got 3 mains on one side done. I don't, however, necessarily want to go further than that. So I'm going to go ahead and get my main from my anchor string. This was the other side that I started from. And I'm going to pull tension on that string. Okay? So now I've got 3 on one side, 4 on the other, or excuse me, 3 in one, and now I've got nice equal clamping at the top of my frame. So I'm going to go ahead and run this main back down, under the throat. Okay, I'm going to pull tension. And then I'm just going to alternate back and forth, okay? Now on any racket, you're going to have holes on either top or head or bottom or throat in which you're going to skip certain holes. Can you see me in that, by the way?
Yeah.
All right. So on this one, I know, and I didn't have the pattern for it, but I was able to see it by the grommet strips that run around it. So I know on this racket that I have to skip holes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 head and 8 throat, or top or bottom, I have to skip. Because if I don't skip them, it's going to end up a big problem, and my crosses are going to be all messed up, and I'm going to have to go back and correct it. So make sure you remember when you're stringing, or if you're just starting to string, that if you're trying to go fast, or if you're new to it, you're not quite confident with it yet, make sure that you count off on either side as you get to the edges what grommet holes that you need to skip. So anyway, on this one it is 8, at least it looks that way. And hey, I do make mistakes often, by the way. Way more often than I would like. So, see, there's a mistake right there. Anyway, so I decided to do this video because I was asked a couple of times to do it. And I had a chance to do it today versus never before, because I generally go to the tennis tournaments with the older boys. And they had one in Mobile today, and because it was kind of a last moment thing, I decided to stay and let the 2 girls stay here instead of having to sit there for hours on end tonight. So I figured I had a breather, and I would try to do this, even though, again, I admit I'm not the fastest stringer in the world. I love it, definitely enjoy it, but I'm not trying to set a speed record, that's for sure. So I'm going to keep doing these mains relatively quickly, or as quickly as I can do them anyway. So at this point, I'm kind of just trying to get to my skipped holes, come down, and tie my finishing knot on my main. So I'm not too far away from it. I'm going to kind of hush tight, or hush up for a second. Let me concentrate, because I made 2 small mistakes. You may have caught them if you're a stringer already. I just got off track, pulled tension on a string again, so. If I have to grab a tool, I'll show you. These old frames a lot of times have shared holes or blocked holes. That are holes that get blocked because you have strings in the way. So I may get to a point where I have to get a tool. If that happens, I'll show you. So again, I'm being mindful of where my mains or where my mains and skipped holes are. Right now, I think I'm on 6. I'll definitely count that off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's correct. So I'm at 6. So I know I've got 8 coming up. So I want to be mindful of where 8 comes up. So right now, I am at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's 7, so I'm clear there. Okay. 7. Clear there. All right, so how do we know if we're going to run into a hole we're not supposed to go through? We count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up, that means I'm safe here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means I'm safe. So good, I'm going up one more. Same thing at the top. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. Clamp comes off. Boom, boom. All right, now we're talking though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, there's 8. I would know if I pulled tension on it because it would be so close to it. First of all, it would be ridiculous. You should be able to tell. It needs to be symmetrical. So I know I need to skip that one. So again, if you're reluctant and you don't know what you're looking at, count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now again, it differs on rackets. Because one racket's at 8 doesn't mean the other one's not at 6 and 8 or 8 and 10 or on teardrop rackets, some weird stuff. So on this one though, it specifically is 8. So I'm going to skip 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm skipping that. And I'm going to go down on 9. Same thing on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Skipping 8. Going down on 9. Okay? Same thing here. Each side is the same. Okay? Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Skipping 8. Going down 9. Okay? Back in at 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Skipping 8. Going in on 9. Boom. Alright? Pulling tension. Opening. Clamping. Done. Alright? So, I'm going to go ahead and, I like to do my knots back to back. So, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on this side. Okay? Let off. Now, for your tie-offs, for tying these knots, I want to make sure you can get a good look at that. I don't know if you can or not. So, it looks pretty good. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie these knots off. All right, sorry, my little one was asking me a question. And then I had to adjust the camera too. So again, sorry if you're getting this. I don't know if you're getting it or not, but just trying to make sure that you get it. All right, so I know that's one of the problems with not picking up your strings on the floor. You'll trip on them. So I'm going to tie off at 6 throat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How do I know that? Well, I can see it. The grommet hole is a little bit bigger to allow this string to get in there. So I am going to cut this off at an angle, okay, so I can get it through that hole. So I'm going to come in at 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Beautiful thing is that I was able to get it right through. If I can't get it through and one of these holes is blocked, I can either use an awl or a Pathfinder awl. I can feed the string through one side while having this come through it and kind of ease them back at the same time. Or the Pathfinder awl, sometimes this doesn't fit through every racket hole, but you put this through, pull it out so it opens a tube, you put your string through, and then pull it out and your string's through. So sometimes you can use this, sometimes you can't. Sometimes it's too big, at least for me anyway. Anyway, so for the knot, I'm gonna pull. Now I do have tools where I can pull it, but I don't really need it for this, in my opinion. Now I don't want space to be here. I want this to be nice and flush with it. Now inside this string loop, there's a hole. So I have to tell myself at some point I have a cross string that's gonna have to go through there. So I have to think to myself when I get down to finishing my crosses that take a while, am I gonna have a blocked hole? Uh, yes, I know that here because I'm about to pull tension on a string and it's gonna leave an open hole. So be careful with that. There's ways around that too. That'll be for another story another time. But I think I can get it through there either way. But be careful because sometimes you get in a real pickle with like an original 85 Pro Staff or one of the K Factor Tour 90s or 88s, the Sampras type rackets from early 90s, late 80s, even some of Federer's earlier stuff. So anyway, enough of that. So for this knot, I put it through that hole and I'm going to come under. And I'm going to go over, under, and through. One time. And I'm going to use that knot to rock back and forth on this string. Now there's a little bit of a loop there, and I want to remove that. It's not going to affect playability, but it kind of looks, for a customer, not too great. So it may break here, but that's why I pull it from here. If you break off here, then you're not going to be able to tie your knot. I don't. This is just my thing. This isn't textbook, so the regular pliers here may not be something that you would like to do, but I've just done it for a while. You can see it mars it really badly. So don't do this with a pair of pliers if you haven't strung before. I do it very carefully up here. So I wanted to pull the slack out of that loop, and I did it. But the string up here is destroyed, so don't use that. All right. So then I'm going to go one more time over, under, and through. Okay. Now, I get my bent nose pliers and then rock it back, break it off. All right, so I've got this side done. Now I get my cutters, cut that off, and this side is done. I have a little piece of string here that's a little long for my liking, so I'm just taking that down a hair. And I just pull that, and I'm done on that side, nice knot. And I'm going to do this side just real quick. So again, I'm going to get this string cut at an angle. Okay? I'm going to go through the same side, and luckily it goes right through here. So I'm going to get it, I'm going to go over, under, and through. I'm going to do this one by hand just to make it quicker. Over, under, and through. Pull my clamp. Clip. So that is a completed set of mains on this racket. So I think it looks pretty good. I mean, all in all, looks pretty good. Generally, without talking and just doing that really quickly, it takes about 10 minutes. But hopefully you learned something from that. I don't know if it'll help you or not. You may think I'm an idiot and you're like, this guy's ridiculous. But again, I've had questions on how to string a tennis racket. So I figured I would at least do my best to meet my obligation. So I'm going to take a quick break. That is how to string the mains on a Dunlop 98 that my wife Carla luckily won in the Dominican Republic. So I'm going to take a quick break and then I'll start it up again and I'll do the crosses. So that way it's not so long-winded and I can take my time because it gets a little bit more difficult there, at least for me anyway. So, hey, for right now, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'll try to answer them. And that's it. So Any esoteric questions or jargon that you didn't understand, just let me know. And hey, subscribe below. 5K Tennis. All right. So here we go. I'll see you soon.